Did you know that a power drill is only used for an average of 12 to 15 minutes in its lifetime? Even less so in my household. Yet most of us have a drill in our house. In fact, some of us have more than one. So this and a party tent are what led Greg to launch Spare to Share. Welcome.
Thank you. It was a tent that was the main inspiration. That's my daughter Jenny there. And we threw an 8th grade graduation party for Jenny. And we borrowed all sorts of things for the party, but as hard as we looked, we couldn't find a tent for the yard. So I went out and spent $200 on a tent, and the first person who came to the party pointed to the tent and said, "Hey, I've got that same tent in my garage. Why don't you just borrow mine?" I didn't know, and that's the problem. He didn't know what I needed, and I didn't know what he had. And it got me thinking about stuff. I don't know if you guys remember this old George Carlin line, "A house is just a place to keep your stuff while you go out and get more stuff." And so I don't know if any of you can relate to these pictures, but this is my life. Stuff is everywhere. Go to my friends' houses, I see the same thing. And it just made me think, why isn't there a virtual inventory of stuff that people have that they'd be willing to share, rent, or sell to people that they know, or have something in common with, or even just be able to keep track of what you did with stuff. So I started looking around, and I found this whole collaborative consumption space, sharing economy. There are some neighborhood groups out there, and there's doing some interesting things around communication, which focus generally around events, safety, things going on. There's even a couple of sharing groups out there that are really neighborhood-based, based on a zip code. But there's a real issue with trust there. Just because you live in the same zip code with someone doesn't mean you'd be willing to lend. So I started thinking, is there a better way about this? So as I dug into a little bit deeper, what they're trying to do is build trust where it doesn't exist yet. That's really hard. I don't want to work that hard. What I'd rather do is look for an area where trust exists but is not being leveraged. And so we realized, hey, there's all sorts of groups that exist, physical groups like residential buildings, commercial buildings, and so that's where we're going. So we built Spare to Share. It's got a website and a mobile app, and rolled out first to residential buildings. Residents like it because they can save money when looking for things, they can make money or goodwill with their idle stuff. They can even organize and keep track of their stuff, who borrowed my stuff, where is it. You can sell locally inside your building instead of meeting a stranger from Craigslist at the Starbucks. And you can get to know your neighbors, and that's why the property managers like it, because it enhances community in the building. And that's very important to them. People who know each other stick around a little bit longer. That reduces churn, increases your retention, it even improves word of mouth and social media chatter. So it's all good stuff. And don't just stop there in residential. There's all sorts of areas where this works. Schools, PTA groups, commercial buildings, businesses, student housing, certainly, church groups, different clubs, even co-working facilities. Eli, perfect right here. So how do we make money? So, what we do is we sell memberships to the organizations. We also have a white label solution for partners, so people can bring in our widget and be able to use our sharing engine inside their website powered by Spare to Share. We also commission on any kind of financial transactions, and we can do hyperlocal marketing in the areas where we're at. Pet Shop Boys, anybody remember them? We're gonna make a lot of money. So in the first year, this year, we're planning on making about $200,000, a little less than that, and it's going to go up dramatically from there. We're going to be cash flow positive in 2015. So how are we going to do this? We tried it out in Chicago in 2013, proved a lot of our concepts, and now we're going to just step on the gas in Chicago. And as we prove that out, we now have a cookie cutter approach that we can take from city to city to city. So we bring on business development people, and we can grow very fast. Long term, it's also a very interesting big data play. We know that a person lives in this place, owns this, and is looking for this. And to steal from Bono's TED Talk, that's the data erogenous zone. It's really, really interesting information. So to wrap up, I'll take from Daniel Burnham, Making Little Plans. They don't excite anybody. This is a for-profit company with an impact goal. And we're going to reduce the amount of stuff that's created. So we are Spare to Share, and let's get to work.